First of all, Jacob, sum up the mood of this conference, a very busy conference.
It's a busy conference, it's a positive conference. It's inevitably a better mood than last year when we were just coming here from a disappointing election result. But it's very much focused on Brexit, and the mood here is very strongly for delivering a proper Brexit and is not pro-Chequers.
What's your personal problem with Chequers?
It's not leaving the European Union. It doesn't deliver on the manifesto commitment. It means we're still in part of the single market, we're still subject de facto to the European Court of Justice, and we become tax collectors for the European Union. It doesn't make any sense.
Every time I speak to someone like yourself, a Conservative MP who wants to chuck Chequers, I speak to one who thinks it's as good as we can get and it will do and it is Brexit. What would you say to them?
Well, I think they need to look at the details and see what is in the detail of Chequers, which is that the common rule book is the rule book of the European Union. We would have no say over new rules. We would have to follow the old rules as interpreted by the European Court of Justice, and the new rules would be interpreted by the same court. And that's not what we were promised in the referendum. We were promised we would be out of the jurisdiction of the European Court.
Not too far away from your North East Somerset constituency, we've got big firms like Airbus, Honda that are lukewarm but quite convinced by Chequers because it'll mean they can carry on their movement of goods across borders. Isn't that the sort of Brexit that the West Country needs?
No. Goods move across borders regardless of the European Union. I mean, aircraft components are tariff-free under the WTO across the world. It's simply not an issue. And just-in-time delivery takes place across borders outside the European Union. Just-in-time is all about knowing when the delivery will come and how long it will take. And delays on the M25 are probably more of an interruption to what goes on in just-in-time delivery than anything that's happening relating to Brexit.
Of course, the Northern Ireland border has become a major sticking point. What's the solution?
Well, the European Research Group, which I chair, put together a paper about a fortnight ago looking at it from the European Union's point of view. The European Union's made it clear that its concern is the integrity of the single market. And what our paper tried to do was say how you could meet the EU's concerns following precedent from what the EU does at its other external borders. And if it's acceptable in Rotterdam, it should be acceptable in Ireland, and applying that to ensure that you could have no infrastructure on the border. There will be a border, as there is already, and the border will be different from the one that there currently is, but it won't need physical infrastructure, and our paper set out how to do that.
You're not a fan of Chequers. Does that mean you're not a fan of Theresa May? Should she be stepping aside?
I'm supporting the Prime Minister. It's the policy I'm interested in changing, not the individual.
You mentioned, of course, your role within the ERG. You're becoming more and more high profile in that sense. That's meaning there have been sort of attacks on your home in terms of graffiti and damage to your North East Somerset constituency home, and your children were spoken to outside your London residence. How does all that make you feel?
Well, my wife was very shocked when somebody wrote scum on her car. They should have put Tory scum. She thought if they're going to do it, they ought at least to do it properly. Look, frankly, other people have had much worse than I've had. Particularly women in British politics find it very hard, and a lot of abuse on social media. So I don't think I should get overexcited, but I think there is a problem with the way politicians are treated. Now, I was speaking to Anna Soubry yesterday, and she's been much worse treated than I have been, and on the Labour side, people like Jess Phillips. And I think we do want a better tone of political discussion.
Your wife clearly made a joke of the graffiti. How do you and your family keep that sense of humour when horrible things are being written about you?
I didn't have to go into public life, did I? That if people go into public life, you're in public life, sometimes people don't like the broadcasts you make, and most of it isn't personally meant. So I think one should be realistic about what public life is like.
Right, Jacob, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.